Hello, welcome after the break. I will now would like to introduce to you our colleague from DLRPT, Krista. You've already heard from her today. Krista is representing the Foresight team, who is working on the development of the strategic research and innovation agenda for the partnership. So I'm now handing over to Krista, and she will present to you what has been done already in this regard. Krista, I'm ending my presentation, and hopefully you can share your screen.
Yeah, thanks, Malvina. Let's have a look. So, see if the technique is nice to me today. So, do you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see it. Not yet in the presentation mode.
Is it better now?
Yes, it's perfect. Now it's perfect.
Okay, so now I just have to go check. Okay. Yeah, my eyes are sort of, yeah, I can orient myself. Okay, wonderful. So I hope everyone is refreshed after the short break. To go and be excited about this other build or one of the building blocks of the partnership, which is the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda, in short, SRIA. And this is, as you might all imagine, nothing that can be written in a day or in a very short time. It needs a lot of preparation, and DLR, Project Management Agency, as part of the drafting group in 2024, this is the historical background, has had tried to get some energy funding into this, and here are the Humanities in the European Research Area network then thought it might be a good idea to invest in doing a structured process towards developing this SRIA. And DLR, Project Management Agency, or Projektträger, or PT, has a foresight team with the expertise doing foresight exercises, and has social sciences, humanities division, and we together got this contract to build the elements leading towards a strategic research and innovation agenda. So where is my next slide? There it is. To let you shortly see, this is the general process, the way ahead from last year's decision to next year's, hopefully, development in the first quarter of 2026. Malvina, you are very ambitious. We will see about the practicality of this, but we always try and hope. So we started with the visioning process, and that's why I didn't answer the question earlier in the chat. We did one visioning workshop already, and then we are doing trend analysis, scenario development in the thematic areas of the partnership. And then we will look at the outcomes of this and see what kind of scenarios we have developed, and then go back to which steps are needed to come to a more resilient future. And this is an act that will happen later on and lead to the strategic research innovation agenda, as far as we hope or as we plan. So the elements of this foresight exercise, the cycles we are doing, we're starting with the visioning process, which sort of like has set the stage, and this has been done already. We're now looking at the trends. Colleagues are analyzing what trends we do see. Then we develop scenarios. We do look forward to a later backcasting, and then go into the 3R. That's the process in just sort of like an overview. And if you look at this closer on, the why, the how, and what output we expect, the trend analysis we are doing to identify emerging developments, to identify patterns. And we do this by looking at desk research, by categorizing what we find. And then we look at what's out there on the internet and in research from sources you mentioned to us, which are important. And then from all and the drafting group, DG Employment, what was it? You had these state-of-the-art reports developed. So all this material leads to then an initial, with its analysis, an initial list of trends. And these trends then again are analyzed via online surveys where we ask a larger constituency out in the open. We ask those people we know who've been named to us. We spread these news via the networks we have, via HERA, North Face, the National Contact Point newsletters, the drafting group. Everyone can spread these news, and then colleagues look at the reaction to these surveys, in these surveys, reaction to the trends. They are then prioritized, and then we choose a lot of 10 high impact trends, ask some experts to deepen the understanding in these trends. And with these trends, we go into so-called trend workshops and explore what implications we have from the trends. What do they mean? What will happen if these trends go on? What are the implications on society or on work level and so on? We discuss these in the workshops, and then the outcomes of this are sort of like, it's sort of like a vision of the year 2020-40, and then this scenario that is being developed will sort of be then something we use in the visioning workshop to look which steps do we need to take to get to this stage. So that's the trend, that's the process. Malvina, you already mentioned the 4 areas. I call it some thematic areas. It's being called impact areas, social protection, the future of work, education, skills, and then the fair transition towards climate neutrality. There will be overlaps in these. I mean, the future of work and what skills are needed obviously overlap in some areas. How to deal with this in the development of the STR, and then later on in the development of the themes for the 6 calls is something that will need to be seen, will need to be discussed. Okay. The next slide will show you the way ahead with a bit more detail, the visioning workshop that already has taken place, the future of work trend workshop that has taken place. And then what's happening tomorrow is the trend workshop on education and skills. And then there will be 2 more workshops on the other 2 areas in March. No, not in March, in September and December. With the backcasting workshop that's planned for the last week of January, around the 26th to 29th, and then the development of a draft in the beginning of February next year. The progress we've made, we've published the outcome of the visioning workshop on the platform we've set up. Sorry, the so-called STR Foresight platform. You can see and take a look at this platform. I'll go into this in the next slides. We've also done this one Future of Work workshop with all the surveys, interviews, analysis of trends, the trend workshop, and we've produced an outcome which you can look at also on the platform we've created in order to communicate about the results of this foresighting process towards the SRIA development. And the current impact area we are looking at, as I said, that's something we will work on tomorrow. And the workshop now is closed. We do these workshops with around 30 participants. We have way more this time, and we will see how this goes. But these workshops are not open for application. We do research in order to define whom to put into these workshops, because if we do small workshops with intensive discussions, we have to kind of see that we get the experts there, that we get different stakeholder groups there. We have to see that we do get gender balance there. We have to see sort of like age differences, disciplinary differences, and try and be inclusive. So we do not do a big apply for it and then we select. We do the research we do because we do the research anyways on the trends, and we gather and ask you for suggestions. And if anyone comes up and says, we would like to participate, we will take this on board. I'm not promising everyone to then get a place in this workshop, but in that way, it is open in the way of just let us know. We have an email. I'll show this to you later on. Okay, so this is the progress we've made. This is the platform we've set up. It's a Foresight community platform. A lot of you will know these types or this kind of platform from other partnerships. It's a B2Match platform. It's actually intended to get together people to write proposals or get active on future projects. And we are sort of like still a bit early on in the development of the needs for this partnership. So this platform has a lot of potential, but for now it is sort of, we use it to gather interest, gather the interest of those people who do not want to put in funding into the partnership, but who later on want to do research in the themes within this partnership, or who later on might want to benefit from the calls the partnership will set up. And for now, I mean, what we use it for is to gather the interest and be able to reach out to people and tell them, go and look at the survey we have open, or look, are these people we should invite to the workshops? And to the Austrian colleague, those profiles who register on the on this community platform will also be taken into account for the workshops. So this is what the platform is. Is there anything else I should tell you about this platform? I mean, if it has a chance to be built into the future partnership platform, but that's something that still has to be adapted. It has to sort of like still grow. But we started it in February and we now have around, it was last week, it was on the 21st, it was 164 participants, sort of like there's 1, 2, 3 more every day. I think we are at point 169 now. And we did see that the interested parties in this partnership, the ones we reach, are sort of like from a smaller group of countries, and then we stepped up sort of communication measures, and we now have not only 17 countries, but we have 26 countries, and even if there's only 1 or 2 participants, it is a start. I mean, you have Albania in there, so that's one step ahead. And so this platform, we expect it to slowly grow. And then I hope it'll be used in the partnership to then later on facilitate project collaborations. Okay, so I was going to show you a little bit of statistics on the organization types. As you can see, this is a strong focus on research organizations, meaning reaching out to nonprofit organizations, civil society, the private sector is a bit more difficult because our channels, I mean, I'm not saying only DLR channels or existing networks channels are still sort of have room for improvement into reaching out to different groups of stakeholders. So if you are aware of institutions you want to kind of like energized for this partnership, feel free to pass the news about this along. So these are just examples of who is in there. There's, I mean, the civil society comes from Albania and Croatia. So that's interesting which countries come out here first. So what else did I want to show you? What to get a bit more into the intellectual and not just the procedure content. What we did for the Future of Work trend workshop, I'm not calling it visioning, I'm calling it trend workshop. We looked at these 10 trends from automation, disrupting jobs, AI changing the world, digital skill gap growing, lifelong learning, from all these 10 areas. We looked at them, we had them discussed by around 30, 35 experts, and then we developed out of the outcome of this, we developed 4 pillars of best case scenarios for the future of work. And so you see this one area is the human-centered, ethically governed digital transformation. One area is inclusive learning ecosystems and adaptable careers, where you already see the link over into skills. Then we have one pillar on resilient and equitable work models, and last, organizational transformation. And if you look at that a bit more closer, you can read these outcomes in a more comprehensive way in the report we made. You see in the human-centered digital transformation a lot of issue go into the ethical or legal frameworks that is needed, workers' rights, co-determination mechanisms, then the need of the humanities and the social sciences to provide ethical, legal, or cultural frameworks. And I will not go into the content of this, just sort of like to make you curious to go and look into the report. The trends we are going to discuss tomorrow, the 10 trends here, relate to education and skills, and my colleagues have identified these 10 trends. Skills divide is deepening, skills demand is reshaped by digitalization and AI, which also was visible in the future of work. The technology is creating new possibilities for education and skills development. Then the strain demographic decline is putting on the education systems. There's a 5th trend on lifelong learning for the green transition. There is a trend on which we'll have to deal with the increasing teacher shortages. Soft skills, social and emotional skills gaining importance. Adult upskilling is rising, but there's not a lot of participation in the existing in the existing practice. Then there is a trend on student mental well-being, and then the point that the green transition reshapes skill needs across all the sectors. Okay, so if you ask how you can engage, I would say keep an eye on the developments we do and on this STR Foresight platform. I kind of showed you, keep track of the developments, go and put your profile on it, show yourself, demonstrate yourself if you want. Quite a few of you are on this platform already. But if you want to interconnect, see who the others are, and be approached maybe for collaborations now or in the future, set up your profile. It is quite painless, and we keep an eye on putting them public also very soon, so you don't have to wait for days on end in order to be published. Do make use of your channels to spread the news about the process we are doing. Do activate people. Well, if you feel this is a good process or it's a good idea, spread the news about this within your own ecosystems, because otherwise we can't reach out. This is a network. It needs to grow by networking, and it needs to grow by a lot of effort on a lot of sides. Participate yourself when we ask for surveys. I mean, we have one open now, but it's really closing tomorrow. The future one is completely closed. The one on education and trends is still open for another 24 hours. But I mean, we've already done a look at the statistics from the outcomes from the survey, because we have to use this for the workshop tomorrow. And there are two further surveys to come on the other two impact areas, and they will sort of be open maybe like around a month before we do the workshops, so sort of like over the fall, and then maybe November, December. Yeah, and if you have any suggestions you want to share with us, or you don't want to get people to register on platforms, just drop us a line. We have an email address. We are reachable, and you can see we are a couple of colleagues. I am working for this. We have Julia, we have Simon, who is on parental leave right now. We have Gaia Di Luzio, who's there, and we have Henriette Kirch, who is also, so we are a team, and there will always be someone to reach. So yeah, we will keep you posted, and you can post to us. And with this, I would like to stop sharing my screen.